Bob Papa, Teddy Atlas back at the First Union Center in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, and joining us, the undisputed middleweight champion of the world. First time since 1987 that someone has held that crown. Bernard Hopkins joins us right now. And first of all, congratulations on a great performance last week.
Thank you very much. I'm wearing it well, and I'm the happiest person in the world now, like it happened yesterday.
Now, in this fight, obviously everyone talks about Trinidad's offense, but he obviously was not able to handle your offense in this fight. Were you surprised, though, at how easily you were able to handle him?
Very. I mean, we knew that the jab was an important weapon for this fight. And staying focused to continue round after round after round using the jab, it became easier and easier from round 1 to 2 to 3, all the way up to the 11th and 12th round. I mean, you know, we knew that Trinidad was tough. We knew that he was a guy that had to plant his feet, had to set up his power shots. We took that away from him.
Teddy?
Great job. One thing I want to say is that there have been some great fighters who have lost their first fight in the pros. Benny Leonard, Billy Conn, Henry Armstrong, some of the greatest fighters of all time. You lost your first pro fight. How do you get from there to there?
Well, unlike other fighters, I hate to lose. And Teddy, I watch you a long time. You hate to lose too. And you'd be the trainer most of the time when you started your career in training. And that's one thing I told myself. You know, winning and losing, they say it's part of life. And I agree. Sometimes you have to lose to become educated. But only when you accept losing becomes a problem. I never accept losing as a part of life. I knew that I had to strive to always do better, and that's what kept me from ever thinking that I can't win a fight, no matter what was against me.
Losing that early fight, like those great fighters I just mentioned, that might have been what made you become as good as you become.
You know what? I believe that was one of the major things that strengthened me mentally and physically, and also built character. You know, it showed me that losing is not a fun thing. And I trained harder since then. I thought positive since then, and I never underestimated myself, no matter how high the cards were stacked against me.
You've done a great job.
Well, you know, the next question for you, who's next? We've heard you say Oscar De La Hoya. Everyone's always talked about Roy Jones has had no name to fight, and he's beaten up, you know, pedestrian characters. You are now the biggest name in boxing. Is Roy Jones a possibility? Roy
Jones is always a possibility, as long as Roy Jones want to give the fans what the fans want: spectacular fights, spectacular matchups. Shane Mosley has talked about it at catchweight at 57, which I can make easily. Oscar De La Hoya might change his mind and come up to 57. I'm willing to give these guys a catchweight. You know, I don't have to fight at 57. And I feel I have the leverage, but I don't want to tell the fans I don't want to fight the big fights because I have the leverage. I think that's the easy way of copping out. Like, some guys overprice themselves out of the fight. Some guys make things so ridiculous, like options and things like Roy Jones did earlier this year. I want to let the fans see the true talents of Bernard Hopkins. I had the opportunity to show last week with Trinidad. I don't want to go back and fight a cream puff the next fight to rest on my laurels, because I never did that before. Shane Mosley, Fernando Vargas, everyone that called out for Trinidad, reverse that and call out Bernard Hopkins, and the world will see, are you really #1 in the world or not?
Well, spoken like a true champion, Bernard Hopkins, the undisputed middleweight champion of the world, from right here.